What's up, everybody? We're back, and this is our second live stream of Texas Encounters and Mysterious Sightings. I'm your host, Lieutenant. And let me start out by saying first, thank you so much to everybody who's gone on the Facebook page and liked the page. We have had such an increase of likes. It has just been tremendous. And it is everyone out there liking the page who is making what we are today. And I can't thank y'all enough. Sit back, enjoy. We got some good stuff coming on today. We got a guest calling in later. We did have a guest for the first half of the show today, but unfortunately, due to a workplace injury, he will not be able to make it today. So, what we're going to do, first off, I'm going to start out by saying that this channel is a place where you can come and talk about any encounter or mysterious sighting you've had. We do not ridicule, we do not mock by any means. Everyone in this chat room, on this YouTube channel and Facebook page is family. And we treat everyone as an equal. We are here to listen, we are here to tell, and we are here to give information. There are things out there that are unexplainable, but our job is to put boots on the ground and make them explainable. So if you have an encounter you would like to tell, or you don't want to come on live and tell it, but you want to share it, feel free to email me at teams, that's TEAMS lieutenant at gmail.com, and from there we can keep in contact. And if you'd like to share your encounter with me and have me tell your encounter, I would be more than happy to do so. With that, we do have a few people in the chat. Feel free to jump in the chat, y'all. If you have any questions, like I said, we monitor the chat. We do have moderators. We like to keep the negativity out and keep the positivity in. And feel free to answer any question. Anonymity is our biggest concern, so we will not answer any questions about location, true names, unless you want your true name put out there. But we do respect anonymity, and we hold it to the utmost respect. So, what I want to do, since my first guest was unable to make it today, I recently was on YouTube, I believe last night, early evening time, and I came across an interesting video. This video was an eyewitness encounter to the Land Between the Lakes attack. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of that, but the Land Between the Lakes was an attack that I believe happened in the early 1980s. Dude from Texas, correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was around that time, I believe. But this encounter happened in Land Between the Lakes is in Kentucky. And there is a stretch of land and woods between two lakes. And the encounter happened with 5 people. 2 of them happened to be Amish, I believe, from what I gathered from the story. And what had happened is they were out there doing a little camping. They were in some type of a motor vehicle. I'm thinking it was the type, maybe like a Winnebago type from the description of the surviving eyewitness. And they were camping, and story goes that the 2 Amish gentlemen went about 100 yards from the motorhome to gather wood for a fire, and they came running back and were attacked by a cryptid. And the description that this surviving eyewitness gave of this cryptid was more dog man related than a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. He and not only was there one, he said there was two um, of these dog men that did the attacking. He also mentioned that he did take a shot at one of the dog men with a 20 gauge shotgun with birdshot, and that he hit it and knocked it down. So that's pretty interesting information, and it's just crazy how this many years later that this encounter is coming about with a surviving eyewitness. It was truly a horrifying story to hear. Also, the surviving eyewitness, a lot of people are trying to discredit him, but you can just hear the compassion. You can hear the breaking in his voice, I would say, or the jumping in his voice, or however, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe like he was choking up while telling the encounter. He actually had to stop telling the encounter like 2 or 3 times and had to kind of settle himself down. So I really do believe this encounter to be genuine. I feel no reason not to believe this gentleman telling this encounter with the excuse me, with the compassion and the fear he had in his voice. So this has gone mainstream within, I was gonna say, maybe the last few weeks to a month that this has come out, and it's just unbelievable. The description, the correction to rumors he was giving, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there's to me, honestly, there's no way that this eyewitness should be discredited. He sounds like he knows what actually happened, and he was very, very fortunate to make it out of there alive. But that was going to be my topic for the first half. Unless anyone wants to call in with an encounter, we can do that and share that. But if we don't have a caller, then we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the LBL, Land Between the Lakes, and we'll see if anybody's had any questions on that. I'm gonna check the chat and see. JJ's Cryptid said, I heard his version. Must admit he had me convinced. Yes, absolutely, JJ's Cryptid. He did me too. He really had sincerity, compassion, and fear in his voice, and there's no way, unless you're the Tom Hanks of the cryptid world, there's no way that you can actually, in my opinion, pull that off and make it sound so convincing if you're lying. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Dude from Texas says Charmin moment scale 1 to 10. I think that's a 10, dude. Honestly, that was kind of crazy. And you know what really intrigued me and what really caught my attention, because you know there's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh man, you go hunting for a dog, man. You shoot these dog, man. You can't kill them. You can't kill them. They're just, you know, they can't be killed. They can't be killed." Well, truth be told, this gentleman said that he shot a dog man, and now, mind you, y'all, he's got a 7-foot dog man, what he described, coming up toward him, and he took a shot at this guy with a 20 gauge with birdshot, and he dropped him. Now the dog man got back up, but he dropped him. He said when he hit it, it made a high pitched like yelp sound, kind of like how a dog would make, honestly, and that it jumped right back up. So these things do feel pain. They do feel pain, and it's just hard to believe how there is a creature that roams around this earth that you can't kill. It's just, I kind of find that hard to believe. I'm not trying to discredit it, but I just find it myself hard to believe. But with that, and of course there was a gentleman on Vic Cundiff's show that came on, and him and two of his buddies actually went out trying to hunt for a dog man, and they were out in the woods, I believe, 3 or 4 days, and they actually seen one, and he had a Marine sniper who was his friend, and apparently they seen a dog man around 500-600 yards, and this guy took a shot at a dog man at 600 yards with a 416 Rigby, and he dropped it. So the realm of these things not being able to be killed, that's not out the possibility. I mean, it may take a heavy round, because 416 Rigby's a heavy round, but I mean, there's just all kind of possibilities. I mean, you can't discredit saying, oh, these dogmen can't be killed. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, there are no experts in this field. They are absolutely no experts in this field. Everybody is still trying to find out about these creatures, and what little information we do have, it can go either way. It can go either way. Oh, they can't be killed. Oh, yes, they can be killed. We know they feel pain. If they feel pain, they can be hurt. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on that. Let's see. If you shot the throat area, it's messed up then. I agree, JJ's Cryptid. I have heard reports of people who tried to shoot dogmen in the head, and for some oddball reason that the bullet hit center mass. And it's just like the guy who was on Vic's show saying, he's a Marine sniper. Oh yeah, I can hit it at 600 yards with a 416 Rigby, no problem. And he aimed for the head, and he knew his rifle was on, because snipers they're all about their weapon. And when he shot, he actually hit it in the right shoulder. He never hit it in the head, and he fired, I believe, 2 or 3 times, and he hit this thing center mass every time. But yeah, if you were to hit it in the throat, I believe you could probably take one down. I mean, that's not our intentions, but if you had to defend yourself, I believe you can come out and not be harmed. Yeah, dude, you're right. There are no experts when it comes to these cryptids. There are no experts, y'all. There are no experts at all. JJ's Cryptid just posted, surely the weak points are throat and groin areas. Absolutely, those are vital areas. It's just like on a human. You hit someone in the throat, if they can't breathe, I mean, it's kind of corny for me to go back to the Karate Kid movie. If a man can't breathe, he can't fight. Same thing with the groin, man. Just having a basketball graze your groin, man, that hurts. That hurts. I know firsthand. Dude just posted, I just want to help shed light on the existence of these cryptids to the masses. Yes, absolutely, dude. These cryptids are out there. The evidence is out there. So many people try to discredit that, and that's not what we're all about. We're about trying to make the unexplainable explainable. We put boots on the ground. I myself personally, I put boots on the ground at least 2 times a week. With my property, I have so much activity out there. I recently just found out I may have a possible dog man on my property, and that's just crazy, because I know for sure I have a Bigfoot, and I've seen the evidence. I've got photo, video, audio evidence of a Bigfoot, and here just recently I may have gotten some audio evidence. It's real distorted. I don't know what happened to my audio that night, but the last night I was out there, we caught some intriguing evidence. We seen some eye shine very high off the ground. We caught a branch being, what sounded like it was being pulled off a tree, like someone was just taking it and just peeling it off a tree with loud cracking. It was crazy, and that's not textbook Bigfoot behavior. You know, textbook Bigfoot behavior. You're gonna get the whoops. You're gonna get, you know, tree knocks, whistles, low pitched growls, which I know dogmen do the growls, but you know, you'll know if when you have a Bigfoot, and you'll know the difference between that and a dogman, because a lot of people say, and I can vouch for this, that with dogmen come dread, and me and my son experienced that firsthand the other night. It's just when this evidence started happening, and this dog man, what I assume is a dog man, because this wasn't Bigfoot behavior, y'all. Whatever this creature was, when we made some tree knocks, started walking towards us, and it was heavy, and you can tell it was bipedal. And my son was like, "Man, I don't feel right. I think we need to back out." And once his feeling of dread hit him, it hit me. And of course, I always go armed when I go out onto that property, and it's not for that reason. But that night, when we walked to them woods, I was unarmed, and hearing that thing come toward us, and us having to walk backwards about 200 yards without turning our backs to the woods, was just extremely horrifying, because something was out there, something was watching us. We seen two big green eyes just high up in the tree. It looked like it was either in a tree, or it looked like it may have been standing up, but whatever it was pretty high. And I caught it on video. Hopefully it shows up. But you know, that was just a horrifying experience for both of us. And that night, we stayed on the property a little while, but I mean, each time we both had a weapon in our lap, so there was no reason for us to really go back. I think that was enough evidence for us that night. So yeah, it was really scary. So JJ's Cryptid asks, are Bigfoot on property now, or have the dog man taken over? JJ's, are you talking about my property? Dogman dread, yes, get out of there. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, just about every story I hear from any eyewitness that have seen dogmen or suspected dogmen have felt dread, like just complete and total dread, overcome with fear. So she answered yes. So yes, JJ, I do believe, I know for sure there's a Bigfoot. I did catch evidence of a hand on my trail camera, which could possibly be a dog man. And what makes me believe that is this evidence was caught during the day. And if you look where that hand is on that trail camera, because it's kind of something like this right here, you're facing the camera, and then if you look to the left, there's a shadow, and you can see a large mass shadow with two pointed ears sticking straight up. So yeah, I do believe I have a dog man on that property. I know for sure I have a Bigfoot. Know for sure I have a Bigfoot. But the dog man, I'm still new to the dog man cryptid, so I'm still researching the evidence, and you know how they act in the woods. What are certain actions they do in the woods? Like, do they knock? Do they pull limbs from trees? Do they whistle? You know, just kind of like how the Bigfoots do. And quite honestly, it's just intriguing to me, because I knew for a long time I had a Bigfoot on that property, and just to come and find out just recently that there could be a possible dog man on that property is just friggin' amazing. I mean, it's scary, trust me. I get a little shaken every time I try and walk in the woods, but it's not gonna stop me. But it has changed my strategy. It has made me enter and exit the woods in a different way. A lot, and if I can help it, I never go in there alone and never go in there unarmed. So that's just me. I go in there armed because on my property we do have a lot of wild hogs. We do have mountain lions, and there have been reports to be black panthers out there. So that's the reason why I go in there armed. And here at the beginning of the year, me and my son were out there on a Sunday morning and just walking through the woods, hearing just a little bit of evidence, and we walk up on some hogs about 15 foot from us, and we never seen them. So they could have easily turned and attacked, and luckily I was armed, and but yeah, it really scared the hell out of us because we were not expecting them to take off running like that. Let's see what else we got in the chat, y'all. So, Alyssa Gamble, that's my little sister, y'all, in case y'all were wondering. She put, JJ, I personally believe they are living amongst each other, and I do agree with that. I've gotten different evidence. I've gotten 3 footprints that are Bigfoot in nature, and I've gotten 1 footprint that's Dogman in nature. So the Bigfoot prints that I've gotten, excuse me, y'all. There was the first 2 I got were about 14 inches, but they were really wide. I wear a size 11, and it was probably about 3 inches bigger than my foot, but it was wider. Now the last one I got was huge, was real huge. I estimated it to be about 18, maybe 19 inches, and it was maybe 2 to 3 times wider than my foot. So yeah, it was a big print, and that same day, or it may have been a few days later, I caught a tree structure down the trail that had an arch, big tree arch, and the top of that arch was about 10 foot. I took a picture with my son standing under it. He's about 5'6", 5'7", my height, and it just towered over him. So yeah, it was huge. The other 2 tree structures I've gotten early on in the year were about 5.5 foot, maybe to 6 foot at the top of the arch. So there could be a juvenile in there with that big one. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't been able to catch them on any kind of trail cam. I've got them out there, but I mean they're really elusive creatures. They are very, very intelligent. So just keep that in mind, y'all. These things are very, very smart. They use parts of their brain that we don't know how to use. So Alyssa put, do you think since you recently put in the pond, it has increased the activity on the property? So with that question, we do have a pond that's closer to the front of the property. The pond, the edge of the pond from the wood line is about, when I did my rangefinder on it, it was about 180 yards to the wood line. So I don't think the pond has increased the activity, because there was always the pond there when we first bought the property. We had it dug out, and the pond was always there, and I was going out there when we bought the property, and there was just not that much activity. It was just until here recently when they shut down the generation station that was sitting next to the old sulfur plant out there, is when I think it increased, because we have a set of power lines that went to that old generation station, and when they shut down that generation station, there was no more power going through them power lines, and it runs right through the middle of that property. So when that happened, and that happened, I believe, at the end of December, right before the end of the year, after that, the activity on the property just increased tremendously. I mean, it just increased tremendously. Yeah, you're right, dude. Pond increased game. Yes, you're sure right. We do have a lot of game out there. We do have a lot of game out there. And, if you think about it, I do have a reservoir, a huge reservoir that butts up to the back of my property. And then behind, on the other side of that, is a river. Now, if you go and you look at the land between the lakes, there's two big lakes that are on either side of a strip of land. So these things follow the water. I mean, it's just like I said on the last stream. Do we think Bigfoots follow the waterways and use them as navigational tools? Absolutely, absolutely, they do. They do. I mean, that was one of the first things they found out about the Boggy Creek creature. He went into the sulfur bottoms following the creeks, and that's how he got in and out and how he navigated. And he's probably still doing it to these days. That creature, I still believe, is out there. So it's just amazing, where you find any water, you'll probably find these cryptids. I mean, it's just a huge natural resource. Huge natural resource. There's water to drink. There's fish. No telling what other animals are using it to drink. Deer, hogs, cats, alligators. Who knows? Who knows? It's the possibilities are endless. Are endless. So, going back to the land between the lakes, that eyewitness was really, really sincere, and he just gave so much good evidence from that encounter. The interviewer asked him 3 or 4 questions about rumors being brought up, and just like that, he corrected that interviewer in the snap of a finger. No, that's not true. This is what happened, and gave descriptive information on that attack and what really happened. So if y'all really need to check that out, y'all, it's little over an hour long, hour and 18, maybe 20 minutes, but it is a really, really good listen, y'all. Really, really good listen. Hey, Lisa. No, it's okay. It's okay. I know you had animals to do. Take care of them furry little bunnies. We love them animals. But yeah, the land between the lakes, y'all, it is a very, very interesting listen with this eyewitness survivor. I've listened to it twice, just to hear it, to see if I can find any kind of evidence that would allow me to disbelieve this gentleman, and not believe what he was truly saying. And both times I can't do it. I something in my heart tells me that he's actually telling the truth, and I to me personally, I can't discredit him. I can't. He just seems so firm on what he's seen and what happened. It's just, I can't discredit him. There's no way in hell I could. No way in hell I could. So does anybody have any questions they would like to ask? We're going to open up the Q&A. I just wanted to bring the Land Between the Lakes encounter to y'all, and see what y'all's opinions were, and let y'all know that video is on YouTube, and it is an amazing listen, y'all. Very, very amazing listen. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna try and be doing this on a weekly basis, and hopefully we get a whole lot of subscribers. We can keep this going, y'all. Keep this going. We've had, in the last 2 days, we've had over 200 page likes, and I can't thank y'all enough for that. Y'all are making us grow from the bottom up. Like I said, this page has only been up for not quite a month, and it's just growing so fast, and I can't thank y'all enough. Yeah, Lisa, LBL is definitely a scary place. Definitely a scary place. If you run left or you run right, you hitting water, man. That's wild. That's wild. And you know, these things, they know them woods, you know, just like I've been told, you know, and I believe in my heart I may own that property out there, but that's their home. That's their home, and they know it better than we do. They definitely do. So we're gonna have a guest coming on a little bit later on, and we're gonna, I believe, yes, ma'am, Lisa, it sure is. It's growing right now. Page is definitely growing. We're gonna be talking about possibly some paranormal stuff and some possible lizard man stuff. And the lizard man stuff is really, really interesting. I know there were some lizard man encounters, I believe, in the Carolinas. I know possibly south, if I'm right, dude from Texas. I think it was South Carolina. I could be wrong. But there was also pictures of that blowing up the internet. Like, oh my God, this lizard man's walking on the side of the road. I don't know how genuine it is, but I mean, you know, it's crazy that a picture like that would surface. I mean, you at least got to give it a chance and see if you can debunk it and discredit it before you say, nah, man, that ain't no lizard man. That ain't, no. I mean, you got to do the research, y'all. You got to do the research. Yeah, yes, Lisa. Yes, it was seen near a swamp. Are you talking about the Land Between the Lakes encounter, Lisa? I know the Land Between the Lakes encounter is in Kentucky. And on the patch of land that I believe these people were in between the two lakes, which is a heavily wooded area that does have a campground. So I didn't he the when I listened to it, the eyewitness never mentioned anything of a swamp, but he did mention that the land kind of tapered down, so there's a good possibility that there's some swamp area down there, because everybody knows swampland is it's a lot of low area. It's just like how New Orleans sits in a hole and everything around it is just swamp. So, and that's just common knowledge, y'all. I mean, hope my chat didn't freeze up. But yeah, the Land Between the Lakes encounter was wild. I never really knew about it until just about a week ago. I heard about it, and it was actually really, really intriguing to hear the actual encounter from a different source, and then to come back to this gentleman who said he was an eyewitness survivor and actually hear what he had to present. And it was really baffling how he corrected the interviewer with the rumors that were floating around. It was just tremendous. So I've recently got some new encounters. I got one from Harlingen, Texas, which is in South Texas. And I got another one that occurred on the Frio River, I think south of San Marcos, I believe. I'm not too sure about that area. I've only gone to San Marcos once, and I just drove through it. Lisa wrote, I wonder if there is quartz or limestone under LBL that attracts cryptids and paranormal entities. Very good question, Lisa. Very good question. And that right there, I have really no insight on. Like I said, I'm new to that encounter. I haven't done enough research for that area to actually say yes there is or yes there isn't. That's just an open-ended question for me. I would also like to know that. That's my sister never heard of it. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, sis, you need to go read on it. I'll send you the link later to the gentleman who was the eyewitness survivor. It is definitely a good listen. Definitely a good listen. But like I was saying, I got actually yesterday I got 3 different encounters yesterday. One was, like I said, in Harlingen. of a possible Mothman-like type creature that happened. That encounter actually happened right at the beginning of the year. There was another one on the Frio River, which was Bigfoot related with a possible juvenile. So I don't know the actual date on that one. I'm still trying to get more information on that and research it and research the area to see if there's been any sightings. And I also got an encounter from West Texas, which could be UFO related. The gentleman was telling me about the Marfa lights. Have anybody ever heard of the Marfa lights in West Texas? I actually never heard of it until just yesterday, and I started doing a little bit of research on it while I was at work, and I got a little bit of information on it, not a whole lot though. I need to read more on it, but he gave me, it was a pretty detailed encounter of what was going on, and it was really, really good. And all these encounters I'm going to upload as episodes. They're really, really good. The second one, I still need to get more information from and research the area to see if there's actually been any sightings at all. Lisa put, yes, Lieutenant, the lights are interesting too. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Any evidence I hear or get, I find intriguing. Speaking of lights, I showed Lisa a picture. It was, let me see, I was at work yesterday and the day before, so it had to be about 3-4 nights ago. I got some pictures on my trail camera that are sent to my phone. And when they sent, a lot of times they'll either send one picture or I could get 24 or 25 pictures at a time. And I got a group of, I believe, 3 or 4. And the first one I got, you can see what looks like an orb, like going across the feeder, like it was zooming across, and like it, I don't know how to explain it, but like there was like a trail of smaller orbs. They got smaller as it went to the left, trailing behind it, and it was going to the right. And then in the next picture it sent, the entire light anomaly was lower to the ground and still going the same way, which was about a few minutes apart. So that was a real interesting find. I mean, it was amazing just to catch that on camera. And then I caught a light anomaly during the day. I actually had about 15 pictures of that, and I shared that with the admins and the moderators of our channel, and you know, we all agreed that that wasn't any kind of sunlight or any kind of light source coming in invading on the trail camera, causing that to happen, because of course on that day you can look in the picture and tell it was completely overcast. It hadn't rained, but it was like real cloudy, real overcast, and this light it was like a squiggly line, and it started out on the feeder, then it would move to the right, and then it would straighten out completely straight. And then in each camera shot, it would get either brighter or dimmer, then brighter and brighter, and then it would move to the left, then it would come back to the right. It was just crazy. It was just crazy, you know, and there was a couple of us who, you know, were saying that maybe something was trying to manifest, and which could be the possibility. I mean, you know, that just could have been a big ball of energy for something to use to manifest itself. Who knows? Maybe it could have been a dog man trying to come through a portal, or you know, we've heard that from information here and there that, you know, maybe these cryptids use portals. Maybe that's the energy source for them. Maybe the portal was trying to open up. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, possibilities are endless. Possibilities are endless. Yes, Lisa, it was so bright. It gave me the goosebumps. I'm gonna tell y'all honestly, it gave me the goosebumps, because I walk through that area so many times a week, and every time I'm out there, I'm always going through there, and knowing that thing was there, it gives you the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, absolutely, Alyssa. It was very, very bright, very, very bright. Yeah, she actually seen it too. I mean, it was amazing, very, very amazing. Anybody have any other questions? I think dude from Texas left the chat. Hope he's all right. Hope he didn't have a Charmin moment. And that's a little joke we use, y'all, when we say we're getting scared and we're gonna need the Charmin. We may have to do a little wiping. Dude, where you at? You still in the chat? Ah, well, he'll come back. But anybody have any questions so far? Charmin moment time. Yes, ma'am, Lisa. You show right. Any questions at all before I move on? Give y'all a chance to answer. I know I've been rattling off here for the last, almost an hour. And I know I can talk a lot. As a matter of fact, while we're having a quick moment, I'm going to get a sip of Dr. Pepper, Lisa. I pick on Lisa a little bit, y'all. She loves Coke and ice. Or Coca-Cola and ice. I'm a Dr. Pepper man. Alright, so to carry on, if there's no more questions, I recently read some information in which I've talked to the moderators with, and that's the possibility of going to the Sam Houston National Forest. Now, that place in the last, I'm going to say 30 to 60 days, have been a cryptid hotspot. Cryptid hotspot. There was recently a sighting of a dog man in the Sam Houston National Forest. And of course, if anyone's ever read up on the Sam Houston National Forest, there have also been numerous sightings of Bigfoots. Numerous. And that place is just a cryptid hotspot. It's also very, very huge. There's been people that have gotten lost in that forest. And it's from what I understand, it's very, very hard to navigate through once you get into the thicket. Very, very hard to navigate through. And I have talked about doing an investigation out there. And matter of fact, our first live stream investigation out there, because one, Sam Houston is such a big spot and has been noted for having lots of Bigfoot activity, and it's just crazy now that you hear that these dog men are moving into Texas. I mean, just recently I've heard that these dog men have actually been seen in East Texas, further west. Vic Cundiff, one of the greatest guys on this earth, has said that Texas has moved up to the #1 spot for having the most dog man activity, and that's just crazy because years ago you didn't hear nothing of dog men here in the South. You heard more of like the Beast of Bray Road, the Michigan dog man up in there. They've all been up north, and now it makes you believe, now do these things migrate that far, because now you're hearing all these encounters of dog men in Texas, and not just East Texas, y'all. There's been encounters of dog men in South Texas, like close near to the border, and I read some information on that yesterday, and that's just amazing. I mean, these things must be migrating for a reason. Maybe it's too cold up there. Maybe they're more heat oriented. Who knows? I also read there was a Wendigo sighting in the town of Yorktown, Texas, which has one of the most haunted hospitals in America. And if you've ever seen Ghost Adventures, they did a investigation there, and man, that place is completely, utterly haunted. Just ran with just so much activity and dread. It's just unreal. And there was a recent Wendigo sighting there, I want to say a few months back. And that's just amazing to hear. I guess dude from Texas left. I hadn't seen him jump in the chat. Let's see. I think he's just sent me a message. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let me see. Nope. All right. We'll continue on. I'm sure he'll jump on back in here in a minute. Lisa, you got any kind of subject you want to bring up and talk about? Anybody in the chat? My throat's getting a little dry from all this talking, y'all. Got to drink a little Dr. Pepper. You know, sis, you want to call in and tell your Shadow Man encounter? I know we had you on last week, but I mean, I know you got a lot of good stuff to tell. I mean, we can tell that Shadow Man encounter if you want. Lisa, always dog man. Yeah, dog man. That's a crazy subject. Yeah, if any of y'all are interested in listening to Dogman, Vic Cundiff has a show called Dogman Encounter Radio, and it is an amazing show. Also, if you want to hear a lot about Dogman, Marvin Allen has a channel, True Encounters with Marvin Allen in the Dog Pack. He's got some good information on his show too. Him and Vic are really good friends, so I'm pretty sure they talk quite a bit. But yeah, Dogman. I'm still new to the subject. I'm still learning on the Dogman. I've always been interested in the Sasquatch, and all my research have been done on Sasquatch. And just here recently, I've kind of had to switch my game up a little bit and start researching on the Dogman, because that is another cryptid that's out there, and if it's out there, then I need to know information on that cryptid. Yeah, sis, you want to call in and tell your Shadow Man? Let me know if you want to call in and tell your encounter. That way I can set up my phone. Alright, JJ. I appreciate you coming by, and as always, thank you for dropping in and chatting with us. We sure do appreciate you. And we'll see. Hopefully we'll see you on the next episode, and we'll have it a little more hot topic and bumping for you. Okay, my sister says she's going to call in and grab another phone. And we'll let her come on and tell her Shadow Man encounter. I'm getting messages from Marvin saying he doesn't see it on there. Because I was not here. Somebody could have called my messenger, and I'm not been on here, so I'm in a loop. Oh, there's my beautiful wife. She jumped on there. She made it in. And we're just waiting on my sister to call. She's going to tell her Shadow Man encounter. And we'll get this party started. Hello? Oh, uh-oh. I think it hung up. Hopefully that was her. It said a wireless caller, and I don't usually answer those. It's usually spam. But, hello?
Sorry, I had to remember your number.
Oh, okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. So, of course, I know we had you on last week, and I was supposed to have a guest today, but unfortunately he got injured at work and couldn't make it today. And so if you want to, I know Lisa's been waiting to hear some of your Shadow Man encounters. If you want to go ahead and share that, I'll pass the mic over to you and let you tell your encounters. But before we do that, how's the audio, y'all? If the audio is good, give me a thumbs up.
Hopefully everyone can hear me.
How's the audio, y'all? Post a thumbs up if the audio is good. Okay, Lisa gave a thumbs up. I think we're good.
All right.
All right, floor is all yours.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Sister. So I've had a few Shadow Man encounters. I spoke of one on Marvin's show. That was the most recent one, and that one had happened about 2 years ago. Just a quick recap if y'all weren't listening to his show. When I told it, I had a Shadow Man encounter in the middle of the night, and very, very fearful experience. It happened. I felt like I was almost like an out-of-body experience. My husband was sleeping next to me. I look over, I see a Shadow Man figure, and I mean, I had complete and total paralysis. Can you hear me now, Lisa?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
Okay. I had complete and total sleep paralysis when I encountered him, and then, but before that happened in the encounter, I was actually on my feet trying to turn the light on to see what it was, and then as I turned the light on, my husband's standing right there, and just something demonic comes out of his voice saying, "Leave me alone." You know, it wasn't my husband's voice. It wasn't, when you just wake up from a dead sleep, you have, how your voice is kind of raspy. It's nothing like that. It was complete and total demonic type of voice. But when I turned on the light, the Shadow Man figure completely went away. But after the encounter with my husband and hearing the demonic voice, I'm literally paralyzed because it's like I woke up from it. But it's like I don't know how I got back to that side of the room, but I knew I wasn't dreaming. You know what I mean? I knew I had physically seen it. It was almost like an out-of-body experience. Now, that was the most recent one. Now, back in 2002, our grandmother passed away. She lived across the street from us. And I moved in with my grandpa, because she had just passed, and we were... I didn't want him to be alone. I was very, very close with my grandmother. Very, very close with my grandfather. My brother knows this. We were both very close. But I was still in high school and decided to move in with my grandfather and keep him company, help him cope with my grandma passing. And one night, we hear something rattling on in the house. And mind you, my grandfather was up in age at that time. He was pretty old, and I knew that unless he had his hearing aids on, that man could not hear anything. And at night, I was in one bedroom, he was in the other. Now, when you open the doors to the bedroom, they face each other. Well, that night, I hear something very loudly coming from the kitchen of the house. Now, mind you, the bedrooms are complete opposite side of the house. And as I opened the door to see what it was, my grandfather opened the door with me. Like, he opened his door at the same time I opened mine. And it was scary, y'all, because I knew he didn't even have his hearing aids in. So if he could hear it, obviously I could, I was a complete sound mind. I could hear it. And he looked at me with this type of fear. Now, when I asked him, hey, did you hear that? He couldn't even hear me say, hey, did you hear that? So I'm thinking, all right, you don't even have your hearing aids in. And you obviously heard what I heard. Now, I go to look and I see something completely scared the life out of my grandfather. It was a shadowy figure standing in the formal living room down the hallway because I was behind him. And the look of this figure was insane. It was tall, it was dark, it had like long limbs. It was didn't have the top hat, but it was something that we have never. And my father instantly started praying, and I started praying with him because we didn't know what that was. And again, it was dark in the house. It was dead of night, and here we see this shadowy figure. And for me as a young kid, I'm thinking, I'm scared beyond wits. But to see my big strong grandfather, who, yes, he's up in age, but man, you couldn't mess with that man. He was pretty stout for his age. For him to get so scared and to see the same thing that I saw, I knew that this was nothing to play around with. I knew that this was something that was not normal. It was not something that the average person could encounter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was obviously after us for a reason. Now, what made the situation much crazier was the night before we had heard noises coming from the house. And when I woke up, it was a familiar sound. Now, before my grandma passed, she walked with a walker, and she had a distinct sound to her walk, because again, you could hear the walker, and then you could hear her step, and it would be a walk, and then that would be my grandmother walking down the hallway. And because the house was on, was it cinder blocks, it wasn't on foundation, of course you could feel the vibration as that person walked. So the night before, I heard the same exact sound of the walker, and then her footsteps. And the reason why I remember it distinctly is because for years after school, I would go over to our grandmother's house again, because she lived across the street, and I knew when my grandmother was coming down the hallway, because I used to sneak candy in the back room or sneak cookies in the back room, and I wasn't allowed to eat back there. But I remember hearing her with her footsteps, and I knew to hide the candy. And that was the same feeling I had that night, that just hearing those footsteps come down the hallway, I'm like, oh my gosh, And again, I open the door, and so does my grandfather at the same time. And that was the night before we saw the shadow man. And it wasn't a fear that came over us. It was, what is she trying to tell us? What is she trying to do, or is she trying to tell us anything? And as I'm walking that night, I'm trying to talk to her and say, hey, well, what's going on? Are you trying to tell us something? Because I am a firm believer that the afterlife can come in contact with you. That's just my opinion. I mean, other people may have other opinions, but that is my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I do feel like she was trying to warn us or protect us from what was about to happen. And when my encounter happened with my grandpa, um, we talked about it the very next morning about seeing the shadowy figure, and he told me, we're going to pray because I know she came to us the night before to warn us, and I know she came to us to tell us that we need to be careful. And he left for a few days, and I found out he left to go to a place where he could cleanse himself and pray. And after that, we only saw light. We never saw dark. We saw, I remember across the street, Ricky, you were with me. We were outside, and we seen this glowing orb.
Yep.
Coming from the bedroom window where she slept. And that wasn't too long after the encounter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an absolute true story, y'all. There, that house was right across the street from where our house was, which we had numerous encounters with shadow men, orbs, just crazy things happen. That's the same house where the person that had it before my dad and parents bought it was doing that Santeria type voodoo witch magic, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it that entire area was something was wrong with it. Something was wrong with it.
Yeah, that night we encountered the shadow man, my grandpa was praying to it. He wasn't praying for himself. He was praying to it. He was praying to almost like an exorcism. Almost, it was almost like, I don't fear you. He was scared, but it was, I don't fear you. I'm going to cast you out in some kind of way. But yeah, I think from then on, my grandfather would tell me, "Hey, don't sleep with the door closed anymore. I'm not going to sleep with mine closed. You don't sleep with yours closed." I think it was just so he could check, just to make sure, because it freaked him out. It really did, because that encounter happened while I was with him, and he told me, "If you're scared, you can always go back home." And of course, I'm like, "No, of course not. I'm gonna stay here with you, and be with you, because obviously, there's something going on here." But I do feel, in my opinion, I feel like it was tied to the house across the street. I feel like those entities were following us as young adults, and then following us as grown adults, because they were both in close proximity of that house we grew up in, that man had did all those horrible things, and the fact that he even hung himself in that house.
Whoa. He hung himself in that house?
Yeah, he hung himself in that house.
I did not know that.
Yes, Grandpa had explained to me one day that he had hung himself in that house, and he would do all sorts of things that were just not godly. And yeah, that he was a very bad man. Put it to you that way. He was just a very bad man. And just one day, out of the blue, he hung himself.
So was it ever disclosed where he hung himself at? Like what part of the house? Because this, if I'm thinking what I think I'm thinking, this will answer a whole lot of questions for me that I've had for years and years and years about that house.
Supposedly, he hung himself right there by the bathroom in that doorway. right there by the bathroom, where you know how the hallway kind of made a little bit of an L. No, you used to hang your chin up bar right there.
Right there between the living room and the hallway.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Supposedly that's where it happened.
Wow, I got the goosebumps just listening to that. I didn't know that. I never knew that. Never knew that.
Yeah, Grandpa had told me that.
Wow.
A lot of conversations with good old Grandpa, but you know, and I remember periodically, you know, we would get the house blessed and everything like that because I mean, things would happen. Things would happen all the time. Um, but I noticed a lot of activity after I moved into it after, you know, the split and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
to me that's when I really started feeling personal effects from it and how it was deteriorating my relationships and my family and everything like that.
Yeah.
And to the point where it's like we got to go. We you know, damn the house, we got to go. You know.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy because I never heard nothing of the sort of this gentleman hanging himself. I just heard that he had just passed on, and that wow, that's crazy. That is
No,
crazy.
he hung himself.
So
Yep,
that
he
that
hung himself.
that would explain why that house is just riddled with evil because I mean, of course, he was doing all these bad things, witchcraft, and then now you find out this man hung himself, committed suicide. Who's to say he's not the shadow man? I mean, you know, it. He could have that land as his own and never leave that property. I mean, just with the stuff he's done. I mean, it's probably that I'm pretty sure that lot and the one across the street is probably cursed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I drove by there the other day to go talk to our dad, and you know, because he was hanging at a friend's house, and I still get that eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Even now, you know, I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy the effects that it has on you as a person living it and experiencing it. I mean, to me, there was more bad than good. You know, there was more creepiness going on. You know, in the middle of the night and seeing things in the dark and everything like that. I mean, it was very active. It would happen all the time.
Yeah, that place it y'all it is riddled with evil. I mean, before she moved out and moved into the house she's in now, or let's put it this way, I went there just after Hurricane Harvey. I went there. Of course, the house had 6 or 7 foot of water in it, so they had the entire house gutted. And there was always something about that middle bedroom that I could not put my thumb on. It just seemed always darker than every other place in that house. I mean, it was just so dark. Even when it was gutted, and I was always drawn to the closet in that room. For some reason, when you open the door in that closet, it was so damn dark, like dark. And even when it was gutted, I went in there, and it just immediately as I walk in, you get a heavy feeling on your chest, like something's like trying to push on your chest and not make you breathe. And I walked in there as it was gutted, and that little area where the closet was still dark. I mean,
Yeah, I remember
it
you
was
showing
crazy.
me that there was just 2x4s,
Yep.
or you know, the whole house was completely just a shell, and you were like, "Look at this, look at it."
Mm-hmm.
The whole house was bright, light, and open, and then right there, it was just black. And I'm thinking, "Oh oh my gosh, like, why is it so? And then we would get closer to it, and we just felt this heaviness on us. And I remember you saying, like, look, there's something not right about this. There's just so, and
Yeah.
you know, to this day, my kids wouldn't sleep in that room. They would always sleep in the other room. They would never sleep in that
Yeah.
middle room.
Yeah. You know, every time like, we would always switch rooms, y'all. And I switched into that room for a little while, and I couldn't. Every time I would go to sleep in there, I either slept or I would have night terrors when I did sleep. It's just completely nuts how that worked. And to be honest with y'all, I got more activity out the other bedroom than I did that bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, I had a sleepover once, and a friend of mine that she had a sleepover with, I was in sixth grade, and I had a sleepover, and her parents had to come get her because she just felt just eerie, and she was crying, and she got up crying in the middle of the night. And I told her, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she was like, oh my gosh, you know, I felt something like heavy on me. Or she was like, I felt like somebody was watching me from there. And she pointed to that closet. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. And I opened the closet to show her. And I remember she like covered her eyes because she didn't want to see. And I'm like, look, there's nothing there. And I mean, it just freaked her out. And she never came back to the house. I mean, we stayed friends up until high school, but
Wow.
she never come back to the house. Never come back to the house. It really screwed her up. So, I mean, I do feel like something, yes, something was definitely there. It was tied to that man. It was tied to the bad things that he was doing. And I think because of what I encountered, I think it was trying to get at me, or try to get at grandpa or whatever, being that he was vulnerable
At that
because
time.
grandma had
Yeah.
just passed.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I think he fed off that, and to know that grandma was still looking out for him, you know, she was trying to warn us about it. So, in the power of prayer, man, I mean, just to see my grandfather just pray it away, you know, like, you're not going to come after me or my granddaughter. You're not going to take over this place. You're going to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very powerful, but also scary at the same time.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Now, to add on to that, listen to this, y'all. About, what would you say about, I'm going to say, what, 4 months after Harvey, when y'all got the house remodeled?
Mm-hmm.
It was about, I'm going to say about 4 months. So I went back over there. Of course, you know, she wanted to show me the house. Hey, it's remodeled. Look how nice it turned out. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll go over there. So I went over there, y'all. And as soon as I walked through the door, same thing. Heaviness in the chest. Feels like someone doesn't want you to breathe in there. And of course, it's completely remodeled. There's no show. Everything's nice, done. So I'm walking through, and she tells me, "Hey, come look at the master bedroom." So we go through the hall, and the hall makes an L shape, like she says. It's kind of a weird layout, but I mean, you walk through that little doorway where that man hung himself, and there's a bathroom on the right, and then it makes, instead of like an angle, like a right angle, it comes and then it makes like a flat angle, and then it makes the right angle, kind of like the doorway to the that one bedroom there. Hey, Southern guy, glad you can make it, bro. That doorway was at an angle that went into that room. It was just a crazy layout, y'all. And so we walked to the master bedroom, and the whole time I'm thinking about that middle bedroom, y'all. So we walk into the master bedroom, and the walls have been completely redone. They look nice. And the bed, as soon as you walk in the door, was to the right. And on that wall, all the way opposite, on the opposite side of the bed, there's the wall that faces the backyard. And we're looking around, and I see something on the wall, and I'm like, hey, what's up with this? Why is there this big old it at first it looked like a smudge, like someone smudged the paint. And she goes, that wasn't here a while ago. That I don't know what that is. And I look at it and I'm like, man, that I'm touching it and it's like, no, there's nothing on the paint. It doesn't feel like the texture's rough. And I step back and I kind of see a little silhouette. So I take a picture of this, y'all, with my phone. With my phone. And when I took the picture and look at it, you can see a face. A face looking at you like it's laughing with a horn.
Yep.
With a horn, y'all. And I'm like, that's a face. Nope. She goes, and this is what she told me. This was not here a while ago, because before you got here, I just came out the bedroom. It was not there. True story, y'all.
It freaked both of us out.
I don't scare very easy, y'all, but when it comes inside of a house, like I said, I'll be in the woods all night long. I'll go walk with the dog, man, all day long, all night long. But when it comes inside of a house, oh, no, Lieutenant, don't play that. And
remember, the next day, I showed you the exact same spot.
Yep.
And I took a picture of it, and the face was gone, but there were scratches.
Yep. Sure was.
Along the wall, like claw marks. Just
sure was.
From top to bottom. Like someone just scraped right there. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, something was there. Something was there.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I got so scared, y'all, I deleted that picture off my phone. I didn't want it on my phone. That's how freaked out I was. Nope. And so we left the bedroom. We went and sat in the living room. And we were sitting there talking for about 45 minutes. And I kept looking toward the hallway because I felt like I was being watched. No joke. I was, for whatever reason, I was drawn to that hallway. And it felt like something was watching me. Kind of like how, Bigfoot's there. I knew something else was there peeking around that corner. I just couldn't see it.
For sure.
That house, y'all, is riddled with evil. And I'm sure it's like that to this day. The people that bought that house, hey, more power to you. But, man, bro, you can have it. I don't want nothing to do with that house. Yeah, even though we lived there our entire childhood, no, you can have it. Because if I ever acquire it, I'm putting a light and a match to it, dude. Gas and matches and woof. I don't want nothing to do with that house.
No, when I left that house, man, it was like a weight lifted. And Adam would have these fits of just not, it wasn't normal. He would belch of rotten meat in the middle of the night. He would wake up choking as if he had he was choking on something just in the middle of the night, would randomly wake up and he'd be choking, and I'm like, are you okay? And then he would burp and it would smell like rotten meat and it would make him hurt. He was like, God, I feel horrible. Like, he would get a bad headache and he's like, what is wrong with me? He even saw a doctor about it. They couldn't figure it out. And it would happen right now and it would happen, once a month. And then it got really active and it was happening, 2-3 times a week to where he would, he was miserable. And
yeah, I remember that.
Finally, we were like, well, we can't figure out what's wrong with him. But the smell of rotting meat, that was the only way I could describe it. It smelled like rotting meat. And I remember he was asleep one night and I was told just to grab some holy water and just, kind of just rub it against him and just pray while he's asleep.
Yeah.
Because my husband be like, oh no, that ain't it, whatever, but I did it while he was asleep and he would like moan in his sleep, like he was in pain from me doing it. And within a month or two, we moved, and he has never had that happen to him ever again. He does not wake up choking. He does not wake up, burping rotting meat smells. I mean, and it's crazy how we moved from there, and his whole demeanor changes, and his whole, his sleeping. And he's like, I've never had such a good night's sleep in such a long time. And to know that it just completely stopped like that.
Yeah. And see, Lisa just posted, and she hit it right on the head. That's a total demonic manifestation. And you know what, Lisa? I truly believe that. I truly believe that, because I've seen some weird stuff in my house, in that house, and oh God, just things that you would not believe that happened in that house. Things that you would say, man, I have to see it to believe it, and it happened. It happened, and it that house, and I don't want to say it was totally the house, but it caused a lot of turmoil for years. And when my dad left that house, he was a totally different person. Totally different person.
Yeah.
And it's just thinking about him then and then him now, he's total 180. Total 180.
Well, remember, it was he was back in the 90s. Don't quote me on the exact year, but I know it was in the 90s because I think you were still in high school.
I'm old, and y'all.
Yeah. You're pretty damn old. But one of Dad's good friends came to the house and brought his girlfriend with him. And they, hung out at the house. And I remember she was just so uneasy there. So uneasy. And she would tell Mom, can we walk outside and talk? And Mom would walk outside. She's like, I just feel like I need fresh air. Or it was just something, you could tell there was something that was bothering her. And I remember the next day, and she was fine. She was very sociable, having a good time. But every great now and then she'd stop and kind of get like this look on her face and be like, I need to go outside. Almost like she needed to throw up or something. But I just need to go outside, need fresh air. And the very next day, or maybe even the day after that, Dad gets a call that she committed suicide.
Wow.
And I don't know if you remember who that friend was.
No, I don't.
She was a very beautiful woman. I'm just gonna say he was a very, very good friend of Dad's. Very good friend of Dad's. And he lived in Houston. That's all I can really say. And he'd come down occasionally or whatever and hang out with Dad.
Yeah.
And I remember he brought her, and I remember it was either the next day or 2 days later we found out he was either that night or the night after she committed suicide.
Wow.
And he was shocked because he didn't, they were going to get married. They were happy. They were, everything was great. Everything was okay. And just boom, one day to the next.
That is crazy. I
remember that freaked Mom out. And that was, she knew someone right,
That is crazy. I remember hearing, and I can't remember who it is, but I remember hearing something of one of Dad's friends' girlfriends had passed away, but I never knew. I was never told from what or what happened. That damn dude. That's
that's put crazy. A gun in her mouth and pulled the trigger.
Oh God. That, dude. That. Goosebumps again, y'all. Goosebumps again. I didn't know this. And wow, that's you know what? And I'm kind of glad when I had my chance, I left the house. Thank the Lord I left when I did, cause man, that house, I'm telling y'all, that house is evil,
Yeah, we
evil.
both left real young. Both left.
And you know y'all, it's and see and you know this has kind of led me to believe on several occasions with everything that's happening on my property. Do I have some kind of drawn connection to these cryptids, or because of course my dad will go out there. Oh man, I don't never see nothing. I've been out here 1 in the morning. I don't see nothing. Yeah, 1 in the morning at the front of the property. You won't go to the back. I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm looking for it. Then maybe they don't know what to look for. I don't know. But I get so much evidence when I go onto our property, and that property's built on an Indian burial ground. It's that place is also riddled with activity. That place, the town, there was a book written on it. It's just it's amazing the encounters that come out of there. Even back in the 70s and 80s, y'all, that place is a hot spot. And you got to remember, the Sam Houston National Forest is about an hour and a half drive, maybe two at the most, depending on traffic, from there. I mean, it's, you know, Yorktown, if you go the other way, it's about 2.5 hours, 2 hours, where they spotted that Wendigo a few months back. So, who's to know? Maybe we have connections with these creatures. Maybe it's our blood type. Maybe, they can sense that you have a different personality. Maybe they can sense, oh, I know this guy's not going to harm me because all he does is come out here and just look around and then leaves. Who knows? Possibilities are endless. Possibilities are endless. But to hear that information, knowing that all those years I knew something was going on, and then to one person commit suicide in that house and the other to show up to that house and then commit suicide a day or two later, that is unbelievable. I never knew that second one or the first one happened. Honestly, I didn't know neither one of them happened. And that would make sense with the first one, why that house is so damn evil.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, I've heard many stories, even after we all left there and we're still renting the house out. And a friend of mine from high school rented it out with her husband and her kids. I mean, she even experienced certain things there. And she's, I still talk to her to this day. And she recently got divorced from that same husband and was going to ask if she could rent the house again. And I told her, no, we sold it. And she was like, oh, she goes, yeah. She goes, I didn't want to. She goes, but I knew y'all would, rent back out to me because she was a good renter.
Right.
But she's like, at that point, I didn't really have many options. But she goes, a part of me was like, I don't know if I want to go back there because of the bad things that transpired while she was there.
Right.
But she ended up finding another place. But she had told me about that when she comes to get her hair done by me, and she was telling me about it. And it's freaky though. It's freaky. And a part of me felt like when I encountered those things, when I encountered that whatever that creature was when I worked at the golf course, I don't know, part of me felt like maybe it was tied into when we lived at the house, and maybe it followed me or whatever. But
could have been. It could have been.
But then the second time around, when my other friend seen it when she was walking that night, I wasn't in that much fear as I was the first go around. And I don't know if it was because it was further from me or whatever, but I remember the first encounter, I came home and I was scared and told mom and everything. And, she had grandma put blessings on me and everything, keep the evil away and everything. And then I don't know. I guess I felt like I was impenetrable the second time around because I wasn't as scared, but my friend was. You know, she was, gosh, she was pretty freaked out by it. But then it's like I sit there and I ask myself, I wonder if all this is all intertwined together because our family originated from that area where all these encounters are happening at the golf course and where the property is now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all migrated to the other place together, basically. And then we're all back out there again. Well, you know, some of us are, and it's like activity starting up again. So, I mean, part of me is just trying to kind of wrap my head around it and be like, who's to say? Who's
Yeah,
to say? You
yeah.
know?
Who is to say? I mean, it's weird how I'm the only one that goes out there. And, well, I'm not the only one. Also, my oldest son, most of the time, he's with me when I go out there. Because one, even during the day, I try not to go out alone in them woods. But there's sometimes where I can't help it. Hey, Marvin, glad you can be here, man. Glad to see you in the chat. But there's some days that I can't make it out in them woods with someone else, so I'll go out there in them woods, and it's just, you know, crazy how him and I go out there and we'll catch evidence, growls, wood knocks, limbs sound like they're being ripped off of trees, eyes shine. You know, it's crazy. And then everyone else that's out there, oh man, we don't ever hear anything when we're out here. Well, maybe you don't know what to listen for. Maybe they're just so cryptid illiterate they don't know when they hear a hoot or, you know, a whoop, and they don't know what it is. It's just like a few months ago. It was me, my oldest son, and my dad, and we were sitting out there at 11 o'clock. And this is no joke, y'all. No joke. We're sitting out there by the pond, and we hear it got eerily quiet, and then we're facing the woods, facing the pond. There's a fire pit, the pond, and then the woods behind that, about 200 yards. Now, to the right of us, it's nothing but open field. We heard a howl. We heard a howl that was really deep and not made by a coyote. And my dad was real quick. Oh, yeah, that's a coyote. Me and my son look, and we're like, that ain't no damn coyote. Ain't no coyote in Texas sound like that. It was really deep and really vocal. And it just, after that, it was already kind of quiet. I mean, you could hear just a little bit of wildlife, like an owl and birds in the trees right above us. You know, because there's birds in those trees. Like, there was a woodpecker pecking on it the other night, and it damn near scared the piss out of me. But that howl happened probably to our right, probably about 300-400 yards, and it was deep and vocal. And at that point, I was like, yeah, that ain't no damn coyote, and we don't really have any wolves in Texas. I mean, if there is, I haven't seen them, and I'm out there all the time. And so we just looked at each other, and on the way home, he looked at me and said, you know that wasn't a wolf, right? No, that wasn't a coyote or a wolf or anything, right? Nope, it ain't. It wasn't. It was too deep and too vocal. I mean, it shut every wildlife creature that was making noise. It shut them completely down. There was no noise after that. No noise. I mean, it's just amazing, y'all. Amazing. These cryptids are smart. They're intelligent. Very, very intelligent. They use parts of the brain that we don't know how to use. And just some people, may never see anything like this. Oh, I've been out here 20, 30 years living on this property, and I ain't never seen a damn thing. But do you know what to look for? Can you discern the difference? I mean, there's people that know what a coyote sounds like and what something that's really out of the nature of something being a animal you hear every day can you discern the difference between that? That's the question. If you can't discern the difference between a coyote and some deep howl you ain't never heard that you can feel in your chest, I mean, you got a problem. Because you may walk in them woods one day and walk straight into the damn stomach of a dog man and not ever know it. And there goes 411. So it's crazy, y'all. I mean, I'm one of them ones that looks for the evidence. Maybe that's why I get so much of it, because I'm always looking. You know, of course my dad's a skeptic, but
I
maybe.
don't necessarily think he's a skeptic. I think that's the way he copes with the fear of it. Because every great now and then he'll slip and he will confirm certain things that have happened out there. So I just feel like that's his coping mechanism. If I blow it off, or if I then no, there's no way. That maybe it won't come after me, or maybe it won't mess with me, or maybe maybe it'll just leave us alone, or move on.
Right. And
But
there I know in my heart, because he's told me this, that he went out into them woods at about 1 or 2 in the morning one time when he went out to that property, and that he went back there in the woods, and that's the only time he's gone back there until the other day, the last time we were out there, when all 4 of us went out there heavily armed. He went back there, but when he went back there, he stood so still, didn't make no noise, because I had told him what we heard, and we went back there, and you could have heard a pin drop in them woods. It was so quiet. But he's told me he went into them woods one time, and he won't tell me what he seen or what he didn't see. He won't say nothing. He goes, "Oh man, I just went back there."
Yep.
So and I believe he's seen something. He just don't want to say it and seem like, oh, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy. No, we're not gonna think you're crazy, man. If there's something back there that you've seen and we need to know about, we need to know about. Because for one, I'm always in them woods. If there is a dog man back there, which I suspect, I need to know about it if you've seen it. It's just, I don't know. I want to find out. That's more or less what I'm trying to say. And, there's not only that property, but there's places all over Texas that are hot spots. Like I said, South Texas, in Harlingen, Brownsville. I mean, along the border, it's just heavy with all kinds of cryptid, y'all. I mean, up into the valley and up towards San Antonio, and then all the way to the east. Sam Houston National Forest, up to Texarkana, of course, the Boggy Creek Creature. There's been a whole lot of reports of dogmen in Texas now. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I, for one, if these encounters do pick up with dogman and start getting, I'm going to start investigating a lot more than what I am now. I mean, I already want to plan a investigation with the guys and go to Sam Houston National Forest and see what they got to offer out there. And I'm pretty sure we'll come back with some compelling evidence.
For sure. Well, my phone is about to die on the phone I'm talking on. But before I go, I will leave with this. I got a client who came in today, who I was telling her about, the podcast and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And she had a very, very interesting story, or encounter, I should say, not far from where I do hair. And I'm going to have to tell you the details of it and everything, but I was going to get with you on it. But just a little teaser. It's along the river. It's in the same county of where we live.
Is it the big river in that county?
Yes, the very big river in that county.
Ah.
People have property back there, camp houses and everything. She owns one, and she and her husband and her 6 children, yes, that's right, she has 6 children, all saw this creature
Wow.
off that same
Wow.
river.
All six?
So I have the note. I was going to type it up and send it to you.
Yes.
It is a very interesting encounter, and she gave such great detail. And she said this happened about 25 years ago. And
Wow.
she knew, it was like as if she seen it yesterday. And she still owns that property. And she even said, "Y'all want to go out there and I can physically show you where I saw this encounter."
Oh,
So
absolutely. We, you know what? We need to get with her, and you know what? That's going to be an investigation spot. That's going to be a night investigation there. We're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. Boots on the ground, baby. We're going to make that happen.
for sure. But yes, my phone's about to die. I'm gonna still stay on the live chat on the other phone. I
Okay.
appreciate you listening to me again.
Yeah,
Always on.
unfortunately, y'all, I had another guest. Dude from Texas was going to call in with some good stuff, but he flew to West Texas, and he says his service is like real sketchy. So we'll save that for the next podcast. But all right, sis, you jump in the chat, and we're gonna see what we're gonna talk about next.
All right.
All right, appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, y'all. What did y'all think about that? I mean, we had to adapt and overcome tonight. Of course, my first guest couldn't make it, and Dave flew to West Texas, and he says his service is real sketchy. So I think we did great. I think we did great. We had Southern Guy. Southern Guy didn't come in. What's up, Southern Guy? Marvin showed up. Man, props to you, Marvin. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. Hashtag boots on the ground. That's right, babe. That's the slogan. Boots on the ground. But what do y'all think? What do y'all want to talk about next? We still got a few minutes. What do y'all want to talk about? Shoot your ideas in the chat. If you want to talk about something, we'll talk about it real quick. Everybody's skunk ape. Hey, Donnie, how you doing? You want to talk about the skunk ape? We can do that. We can do that. So, yeah, absolutely. Donnie, would you like to call in? I mean, we can talk about the skunk ape. I'm all for that. Oh, absolutely. Hey, Kelly, post my number. Go ahead and post my number. Hey, appreciate that, Southern Guy. I really do, man. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate the support. Like I said, we got some great things happening in Texas, man, and that's the fourth encounter that I've gotten in the last 2 days. So we're moving on up. Yeah, my phone number. Post my phone number. They can call it. Most definitely. Most definitely. But yeah, the skunk ape. A lot of people say the skunk ape is of something a little bit different of a Sasquatch. The skunk ape, from the research I've done, has primarily been seen around Florida and the very southeastern tip of Georgia and parts of South Georgia. So yeah, the skunk ape, I believe, is a swamp-oriented creature, especially down in the Everglades. The Everglades is apparently a good hotspot for the skunk ape. There have been a few pictures of the skunk ape to where it really and truly looks something of like a hybrid gorilla, possibly monkey, and there's been some people who said they seen it upright. Some people said it had short legs. I mean, it's crazy. I've never heard of anybody saying that the skunk ape was exceptionally large, you know, 8, 9 foot, like some of these other Sasquatches are. Um, she is talking to me again. She's about to get tossed out of this bedroom. Oh, you must be talking about Alexa? Yeah, if you unplug her and she start talking, we got problems. I'm sleeping in my office tonight. But yeah, the skunk ape's a real interesting subject. Donnie, if you want to call in, there's my number. Thank you. I'm calling in after my poop. Southern guy, Kelly's my wife. That's my wife. LOL, run. I hope Donnie has some Charmin, man. That Charmin is extra soft. We'll wait on Donnie to call in and see what Donnie has to say. Alexa's about to get broken. Man, unplug it. Unplug it. I damn sure don't want it talking to me. Now, if it's going to tell me I got a delivery coming tomorrow from Amazon, by all means, yes. But if you got something stupid to say, unplug it. I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night by Amazon or by Alexa. Yeah, Lisa. Pull out that Charmin. Pull out that Charmin. Yeah, so yeah, thanks everybody for showing up, man. It has been a great show. Yeah, by the way, Tracy over there is a Charmin dealer if you want to put in an order. She carries it by the cases. But yeah, thank y'all everybody for showing up tonight. I really appreciate y'all's support. Like I said, our Facebook page is taking off. Thanks for Marvin for giving us the support, Southern guy. You know, everybody that's in the chat, all the moderators, thank y'all for showing up and doing a great job. I really appreciate it. And I don't want to know what else you ordered. Yeah, babe, you sure don't. You sure don't. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody liking the page. And if you haven't, man, subscribe to the channel, because with the support that it's just getting better and better. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep this going. Like I said, we're gonna do once a week. You know, we'll never do it on Wednesday and Saturday because those are Marvin's days, and you know we want to support Marvin too as well. And you know, we just want to make all this work with positivity, weed out the negativity, and just talk business, talk cryptids, talk paranormal, you know, UFOs, you know, a little bit of everything. So, yeah, I appreciate that, Southern guy. Thank you very much, man. I'm glad you came in tonight. We had to adapt and overcome, but man, we made it a great show. Oh Lord, Lisa fell off the bed again. Apparently, she's got a tall bed too. I'd like to see a picture of that, Lisa. I want to see exactly how far you are falling. But like I said, thanks everybody. We're gonna keep on keeping on. We're gonna put boots on the ground. Like I said, my property within itself just keeps me so busy with all the evidence and, you know, trying to expand out. Now I'm starting to get, you know, I started getting encounters from people who lived around that property and in that little town, and now it's finally that domino effect is kicking in to where we're starting to branch out and get further and further away from that property, and encounters are starting to flow in. So it's really really looking very positive for us, and I'm so blessed that it is because one, I love this subject. I love talking about cryptids, and for me to be able to put a show out for y'all just makes me feel so good because there is a few people out there that put out shows, but it's they can't do it like we do it or Marvin does it because I mean we put in the work. Especially me. I'm always out in the damn woods. Always in the woods. And that's just how I am. I might be the host of this damn channel or whatever, but I'm no different from each and every one of y'all on this channel. And in order to get the evidence I want to get, I got to go out into the woods and get dirty and get stinky. And that's what I do. That's what I do. Aaron says, "Don't fall into Low Lodi, the realm of monsters." What is Low Lodi? Or did you misspell again, Tracy? You might have misspelled that. If you didn't, I don't know what that is. Southern guy ain't going into no wood. Why not? Ain't nothing in them woods that can hurt you. If you go in there with, positivity and prayer, you good. Oh, Lord Tracy, you spelling words my Texas accent can't pronounce. La latte, or that's a drink. La latte. Lalattai. I don't know how to say that. Moana from the movie. I've never seen it. Never seen it. Southern got nothing but dog man. Yep. Yep. And I'm still learning, y'all, on the dog man. I'm still learning. It wasn't until I got with Marvin and started talking to him that I started learning about the dog man because I heard very few encounters. The Beast of Bray Road. There's another one supposedly called the Michigan Dog Man. I don't know if it's the same one, but I mean, those I've heard very few, and those are the ones that I've really actually heard. And it's just crazy how all of a sudden Texas is a dogman hotspot. Apparently the number one dogman hotspot according to Vic Cundiff, and I believe him, man. Vic's done a lot of shows with a lot of different people, and he gets a lot of good stuff, y'all. And if y'all ever want to check out some dogman encounters, check out Vic Cundiff, check out Marvin Allen. Man, both are excellent material that they put out. Of course, listening to Marvin, man, he can paint an excellent picture, y'all. It's like you're sitting there on the back porch if he's telling you this eyewitness was on the back porch. So, yeah, it's excellent channels to visit, y'all. Go and visit them channels also. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this one, y'all, because we're going to be doing more stuff on this one, too. I'm going to be doing the Texas encounters, and I'm going to tell y'all, there is a lot of them. There is a lot of them. So, haven't got a call from Donnie yet. I don't know if Donnie left the chat or not. Lisa put down, have you heard the Dogman song? No. There's a song about the Dogman? Really? I didn't know that. Is it on CD? Cause y'all know I'm old. I still got a CD player and stuff. No, but not really. Y'all don't. I don't have a CD player. I'm just making a joke. But if I did, I'd buy it. I'd buy it. What happened at the LBL, Lisa? Oh, Southern guy, you haven't heard about the LBL? Man. Have did you Southern guy? Did you hear the encounter, or did you not hear the surviving eyewitness that just come about the last couple of months? Because if you haven't heard neither or, man, you need to listen to it because man, there's some good stuff. Good stuff. They just found out there was a eyewitness that survived that attack, and he just released what actually happened about a month ago, and it's on YouTube, and it went viral, and man, it's I think the dude's legit. I think the dude's legit. Eyewitness came out to discuss it and address the whole encounter. Yes, that's the one I saw. Yeah, you're right, Lisa. That's man, that guy, um, that guy when he told what happened that day, one, he discredited like three or four rumors that were floating around that the interviewer asked him, and he immediately discredited it and told him what actually happened. And you could hear the I don't know what you want to call it, like the shakiness in his voice when he was talking. He actually had to stop the interview 3 times because he was so shook up and upset. And the guy was just, you can tell he was genuine, and you can tell he was legit because he gave so much detail and so much info on the encounter. Like, there was a rumor going around that one of the girls was found up in the tree with the dog man, and he completely discredited that, saying no, that never happened. She was inside the RV. And oh, you know what else that brings to mind too? Part of that encounter when I know the survivor shot at a dog man and hit it and knocked it down. In that interview, he said there was a dead dog man in the tree that had a piece of that girl's sweater still on his hand, on his claw. And I thought that was crazy, because a lot of people say, man, you can't kill a dog, man. There's no way. You just can't kill him. You can't. And that guy said there was one that was actually deceased in a tree. How it got deceased, I don't know. Maybe I missed that part. But, yeah, he said one of the dogmen were deceased in a tree. Yeah, see, Tracy, yeah, that there was a dogman dead in the tree. Yes, that's what he had said. That's what he had said. And he said he shot the first dogman with a 20 gauge with birdshot, and he knocked it down. And that dogman made like a yelp type scream, like how you do when a dog gets injured. Yep, you're right, Lisa. If it bleeds, it can be taken down. That's right. That's one thing my dad always told me. If it bleeds, you can kill it. Yep. So right. Well, all right, y'all. I don't think Donnie's gonna call in. We'll save that for the next podcast. If you're out there, Donnie, and you're in the chat just hanging out, hey, we're already past the 2 hour mark, so we'll go ahead and we'll save it for the next podcast. And like I said, I'm gonna put out the schedule probably tomorrow for the next one. And Southern guy, everybody, get everyone over here, and let's do a bang up show, man. Let's get everybody in here, as many people as we can. Let's make it legit. We're gonna help Marvin. Marvin's gonna help us, and let's get the party started and get it rolling, because man, it's just taking off. It really is. I'm so happy to see everybody here. All the moderators doing a bang up job. The encounters I'm getting. I'm gonna start uploading the episodes of the encounters, and always, Lisa, always. That's what we're here for, is to have fun and to tell encounters and get information out. That's what we do. That's what we do best. And we do it on a positive level. And we're going to keep doing it that way. So, everyone, thank y'all for showing up. Please like, subscribe, and share. Also, do the same on the Facebook page. If you have friends, tell them to come on over. If they have encounters, even better. We'll share them. And if they don't want to share them, we'll share them. Either way, we're going to have fun doing it, y'all. So, with that, I thank y'all. It was a great show. And everyone, have a safe night. It's Friday. And be careful out there. And we will see y'all on the next podcast. This is Lieutenant, y'all. Signing off.